All right. Welcome once again, everyone, to our Thursday night Numi Breakthrough Call with Numi's founder, Stephen Scott. For those of you joining for the first time, just say hello in the chat. If you're just also type in where you dialing in from. Let's see, we got people dialing in from looks like Whidbey Island, Washington, Northern California. Where else we got? Mexico. We've got Nigeria. Oh, welcome, Nigeria. Welcome from Ontario, Canada. Good to see everyone tonight. See, what we get an opportunity to do tonight is to listen to the man that really got me excited about the Numi opportunity. You know, we weren't sure. We understood the concept of technology and everything, but I wanted to make sure that the company was founded, had really good roots. And once I got to meet the gentleman that I'm about to introduce, I knew that beyond a shadow of a doubt, we were good here, we were safe here, and we can thrive in the Numi nation. So join me and help me welcome my good friend, Stephen Scott.
Thank you. Let's see, unmute myself. I did that. Hey,
Good.
everybody. It's good to see you. And what a delight to be here. My heart goes out to those people that were on our call 2 hours ago. It went 45 minutes, and I see some of you are back onto this one. The purpose of these meetings are twofold. Most important, to encourage and strengthen and equip NUMI family members, which is most of the people on these calls. But it's also to be used as a beacon to people who aren't. Oh, here it says, I might confirm my language. Sorry about this, English. I got to confirm that. Okay. It's also to be a beacon to those people who aren't yet involved with NUMI, and to have a chance for you to reach out to others and have them hear what we have. What we have is so unique. It's such a huge breakthrough. My background is I spent 35 years in television, looking for breakthrough products, products that could do things that no other product in the world could do as effectively or efficiently. And then to bring those products to the world through television. And we used celebrities. We had by the time I retired, after 35 years, we had 93 celebrities under contract. And these celebrities just weren't pitch people. These were celebrities that believed in the breakthrough product, or they wouldn't be used. We had a lot of celebrities who said they would never do a television commercial, but they did commercials because they became users and believers in the products that we coupled with them. For example, we had Cher, the singer, on hair care. Cher's always been attentive to her hair. And of course, she wore a lot of wigs when she didn't like how her hair looked. But we had a breakthrough in hair care, and she was already a client of the expert who had brought us that breakthrough. And so she went ahead and was the spokesperson for that. We had Michael Landon on education, on an educational product, because Mike really believed in the importance of educating young people. And we had Richard Simmons on a weight loss program called Deal-A-Meal. Michael was on a program called Where There's a Will, There's an A. And but in 2006, I met a doctor who had taught at the Mayo Clinic and was a brilliant medical researcher. He was an oncologist, a hematologist, and an immunologist. And he had his own clinic in Florida. And he introduced me to a word that he said would change my life. Well, it not only changed my life, it changed the whole direction of my life. And that word is glutathione. Glutathione, you mention it to a doctor and you got about a 30% chance they'll know what you're talking about, because doctors aren't scientists. Mention that same word to a medicinal scientist, a medicinal chemist, or a molecular biologist, and they'll start talking and they won't stop talking until you shut them up, because they know glutathione is the breakthrough, and it's the ultimate of just about everything the body needs. And they've discovered it. Glutathione is the most studied molecule in medicinal science. There are currently over 100 and let's see, what is it? 183,000 published studies in the medical library of the United States government called PubMed. 183,000. To put that in perspective, there's only about 60,000 or 70,000 on the second most studied molecule, which is vitamin C. Why is glutathione so studied? Because it impacts every aspect of human life, of the human body, the human cell, the human organs. It impacts everything. People say, well, what's it going to do for me? It's going to change your life. It's going to change how you go through your day physically, how you go through your day mentally, how you even go through your day emotionally, how soon you will tucker out, to where you just don't want to do anything else in the day, or how soon you won't tucker out. How quickly you fatigue mentally and physically is highly impacted by your glutathione levels. Low levels of glutathione, after 2 or 3 o'clock, you're like, oh my gosh, I still got 3 hours. If you have higher levels of glutathione, here it is, my time at 6 o'clock, and I feel as good now as I did when I woke up. So all of that relates to glutathione. Anyway, I heard about it from this scientist. It did change my life. I started pouring millions of dollars. God had blessed me in my business pursuits. And so I started pouring millions of dollars into glutathione enhancement, and worked with some incredible medical scientists, doctors, and ultimately got into the space that we're going to talk about today, which is a novel way, a breakthrough way of nanosizing particles, and mainly nanosizing glutathione and its cofactors. So let's talk about glutathione. What is it? Well, it's a tripeptide that's manufactured by every cell in your body. It's your first line of defense at a cellular level. Dr. Mehmet Oz, the Harvard heart surgeon who had his own TV show here in the United States, said this about it. He said, glutathione, it's the most important antioxidant you've never heard of. It's what protects you from the diseases you fear the most. Do you know your glutathione levels begin to decline at the age of 20? At the rate of 8 to 15% per decade. So I'll be 76 in a few months. That means I have less than 40% of the glutathione that I had at the age of 20. That's 60% less than I had. And that's not good. Why? It's the first line of defense, but now it has to defend, your cells have to defend with a lot fewer bullets. So the bad guys keep coming at your cells, but now they've only got, in my case, only 40% of the glutathione they used to have at 20. So we're going to look at glutathione. You're going to see the miracle molecule that it is, and it's truly a miracle molecule. Let me ask you a question. If you were making millions of dollars a year, year in, year out, decade in, decade out, millions of dollars a year, and you had the most fun job in the world. You got to work with and direct and write for some of the most famous people in the world, Academy Award winners, Grammy Award winners, Emmy Award winners, Hall of Fame athletes. So you have the most fun job, you're making millions of dollars, and your partners in the business are like your best friend. They are your best friends. Would you leave a job like that? Well, that was my life for 35 years. I had it all, and I loved it. And then I met this doctor, and he not only introduced me to glutathione, he showed me what it could do. He showed me what would happen when people don't have enough glutathione, which is basically everybody on this call. And I became infected with his passion and with his vision. He envisioned a day, he's no longer alive, but he envisioned a day when it would be, we would be able to enhance the body's own production of glutathione, and we'd actually be able to get glutathione itself into people's cells. You've got 50 trillion cells. Now, I want to show you what a cell looks like. You know, we get skin that sloughs off and you think you're looking at a cell. You're not looking at a cell. The average cell, one strand of hair, one strand is 80,000 nanometers thick. A piece of typing paper, here, I'll show you. This piece of typing paper right here, look at how thin that is. That's 100,000 nanometers thick. Okay, now, so if you slice that into 100,000 slices and took 10 of those slices that you could only see with a microscope, that would be the size of 10 nanometers. Now, here's the cool thing. I love this. There is now equipment that can do this photograph that even 5 years ago couldn't be photographed. This is a cross-section of a human cell. Now, everything you can see has a function. Everything you can see is consuming energy to function. That cell is making its own energy. It actually manufactures its fuel called adenosine triphosphate. We're not at a microscopic level where you can see the DNA and the atoms. You can't see that. But look at that. Every cell in your body is more complex than the most complex machine ever built by mankind, the Saturn V lunar launch vehicle, along with the Saturn V, with the lunar lander and the lunar orbiter. Put all that together and you have the most complex machine ever built. It took 35,000 engineers 8 years to design and build the Saturn V. Every cell in your body is more complex with more systems working in synchronization than the Saturn V. It's a miracle. You are a miracle. You were made by the greatest engineer, the greatest designer who's ever existed. And he happens to be my best friend. And I'm blown away every single day by God's love and mercy. And I got to tell you that just looking at this ought to tell you something. Well, now that has to function. All of those parts are moving parts. They all interact. But now imagine taking a little bit of mud and dropping it right in the middle of that. And we'll say it's microscopic mud, so it actually gets into those moving parts. Things wouldn't work so well. Well, that mud is called inflammation. Inflammation is caused by oxidative stress. What's oxidative stress? Too much oxygen for the cell to process. And you think, how can too much oxygen be a problem? Well, look at any piece of iron that's been in the water and left to rust. That's oxidative stress, only it's going on in your body. And so it's all health and all illness starts at a cellular level. So what goes on in the cell is no small deal, even though it is small. It is a huge deal. And so glutathione is the cell's first line of defense. It is the aggressive defender of the cell. It doesn't just relax, okay, I'm glutathione, think I'll work on protecting this cell. No, man, it is active in what it does. So it performs over 400 functions. Without glutathione, there'd be no life on Earth. There'd be no plants, no trees, no fish, no birds, no microorganisms, nothing would exist without glutathione. It's just as important as oxygen, except it performs 400 functions that we know about. And so we're going to look at those. We're going to tell you the problem. The problem is real simple. I'll just tell you right now. Your glutathione levels decline. Now look at this stuff coming out of my screen. Your glutathione levels decline by 8 to 15% per decade. So if you're 50 years old, minimally, you've lost 30% of your glutathione production. If you're 60, you've lost at least 40%. And but the need, the desperate need for glutathione never diminishes. Every cell in your body is attacked. Excuse me. That comes from 3.5 hours of talking nonstop. Every cell in your body is attacked 10 to 20,000 times a day by free radicals. Now, what are free radicals? They are an enemy to your cell. They literally want to steal an electron from the cell. And when that happens, it creates that oxidative stress. The oxidative stress, and it happens within the cell. The oxidative stress then does two terrible things. Number one, it produces inflammation in the cell that impedes and interferes with the operation of all of these glorious parts of a cell. It's all impeded, it's obstructed. It's like you're driving down a road and first you hit a pothole and then all of a sudden there's a big mound in front of you. You slam on your brakes, you hit the mound, you wreck the front end of your car, but you can back up and your car's still moving, so you go around it, but you're not going to go near as fast. You're not going to get there as smooth. That's what happens in the cell. Okay, inflammation does that. Inflammation's our mortal enemy. Do you know in the United States, inflammation causes 80% of all heart attacks and strokes? And do you know who's having those heart attacks and strokes? Big article just came out. It was a study of 104,000 people in the United Kingdom. They've now found diseases of aging are no longer waiting till you're 50 years old. They're starting at the age of 20 and 25. Cancer rates are going up. Heart attack rates are going up. It's happening. And what is that? They said right in the thing, it's in the article, it's inflammation and accelerated aging, because that's what oxidative stress does. It creates inflammation in the cell and it accelerates the aging of the cell. So do you want the cells in your heart, your liver, your lungs, your brain, your kidneys, do you want them to get older faster? That's what happens with accelerated aging. Well, glutathione mitigates that, because glutathione is your body's master antioxidant. It literally donates an electron to the free radical. And when that donation takes place, it captures and sequesters, neutralizes that free radical. Okay, now think about that. Your cell, you got 50 trillion cells. Each one's attacked 10 to 20,000 times a day by free radicals. Now, just imagine while you're watching this video, somebody comes pounding on your door. Quick, get out. You got to get out. And you go, what's wrong? There's 20,000 people coming down the roads, and they've all got signs with your picture on it, and a big X through it, and they're carrying rifles and bayonets. Get out of here. They're going to kill you. So you somehow miraculously escape. The next day, you're at your Aunt Millie's house. Bam, bam, bam on the door. Get out of here. There's every single day. There's 10 to 20,000 enemy troops coming to looking for you to kill you. And that happens to every cell in your body every day of your life, from the time you're born till the time you die. That's the battle that goes on. Well, now it's going on with greater force than ever with young people. And that was the article that came out. They're seeing cancer, heart disease. They're seeing all these things that used to be reserved for older people happening at a younger age. and it's all driven by inflammation, which is caused by oxidative stress, which is caused by free radicals. Glutathione is the best answer to free radicals. Why is that? Well, there's a whole spectrum of free radicals, and all antioxidants focus on free radicals, but each antioxidant, like vitamin E, can only neutralize one type of free radical, but it can't do anything with the others. They call that monofocus. So vitamin E can get rid of that one, but it doesn't get rid of these. Vitamin C will get rid of that one, won't get rid of those. Vitamin E, CoQ10, superoxide dismutase, but they leave more than they take care of. Glutathione is called the master antioxidant because, unlike any other, it can sequester, capture, neutralize all free radicals, regardless of the source, regardless of the chemical composition or the structure of the free radicals. See, there's oxygen-based free radicals, nitrogen-based free radicals, hydrogen-based free radicals, and every antioxidant can each take care of one type, but can't take care of the other types, except glutathione. Now, we have to deal with free radicals that our parents and grandparents never had to deal with. For example, don't we all love our cell phones? Well, while we're doing on our cell phones, or if we drive past, you don't even have to use a cell phone. Just drive past a 5G tower, and those antennas in that tower are sending out microwaves. Guess what? They go right through your car and into your body. And guess what they do? When they interact with the nitrogen in your body, they produce a terrible free radical, the most aggressive we know about, called peroxynitrite. You should write that down. Peroxynitrite, not nitrate, nitrite. And that free radical lives 1 billion times longer than oxygen-based free radicals. And it can actually transfer from one cell to the other cell. It's the only one we know of that can do that. And guess what it does? It attacks your mitochondrial DNA. Why is that bad news? As long as the mitochondrial DNA remains intact, the cell can't mutate. But when it's broken, the cell then can mutate and multiply, and it takes out, they say within 10 years, it'll take out half of America's, it'll be half the death rate. It will actually kill more people than heart disease. Okay, so we want to protect that mitochondrial DNA. Glutathione does that by not only neutralizing free radicals, but the other thing that breaks the mitochondrial DNA, in fact, it's even worse, is the chemical load inside the cell. Every cell in your body has industrial chemicals in it. Now, everybody on this call has at least 200 industrial chemicals in your body right now. And those chemicals attack the mitochondrial DNA. Glutathione mitigates that, makes up for that by lowering the chemical load in the cell. It's the detoxifier of the cell. And how does it do it? Well, it has this sticky sulfur molecule, and that sulfur sticks to the chemical, and then it moves it out of the cell. Glutathione is also the chelator of the cell. What does that mean? It means it lowers the heavy metal content, like mercury and some of the other heavy metals that we get through our air and through our water and so on. Glutathione does that. So glutathione, it's amazing. Problem is, it goes down every day. What does it affect overall? Well, it affects your health. It affects whether, when everybody else around you is getting sick, are you going to get sick, or are you going to stay well? Are you going to, how fast will you recover from a sickness? Will you recover? All that's glutathione based. Why? Glutathione is the sole protector. It's your one and only protector of the immune system. You see, the immune system, whenever there's a virus or a viral or bacterial assault, your immune system has to quickly figure out how to kill that bugger. And as it's figuring it out, it's sending out assassins to kill it. And those assassins are called T cells and B cells, primarily the T cells. They target the virus, target the bacteria with the intent of destroying it, okay? Now, your bacteria or virus is reproducing. It doesn't say stagnant in the cell or the body. It's reproducing at a rapid rate, okay? How fast your T cells reproduce will determine how fast you recover or if you'll recover. If they reproduce slowly, you're toast. It's going to take a long time to recover. You may even die, like the COVID pandemic. On the other hand, if your T cells reproduce rapidly, you get a hold of they get in front of it and they catch up with the virus and the bacteria, and they ultimately kill it. That's a good, robust immune system. Well, glutathione is the sole protector of the T cells. High glutathione levels in your body and those T cells reproduce explosively. Low glutathione levels in your body and they reproduce sluggishly. So timing is everything. Well, so knowing that and knowing that our glutathione levels are declining every year and every decade, why don't we just go buy some glutathione capsules? You can buy them at any health food store. The problem is glutathione, when it hits your stomach, is broken. And your cells will not accept a broken molecule. It'll keep them out. Glutathione won't get in once it's broken. It's very fragile. And the precursing rate-limiting amino acid, that's one of the 3 amino acids that make up glutathione, it's called L-cysteine. That likewise is so fragile, it can't get through the stomach. So what have we done? We've miniaturized. In reality, we've nanosized. That means we've taken it down to billionths of a meter. We've nanosized glutathione and the precursing rate-limiting amino acid, L-cysteine. And what happens? You swish it, like this is it. You take a cap off. You take 2 capfuls, put it in your mouth, and swish it like a mouthwash. You swish it for at least 30 seconds, and while you're swishing, billions of particles are going right into your bloodstream through your mucous membranes inside your cheeks, and also sublingually under your tongue in the venous cavity. Now, how long should you swish? Well, athletes usually will swish for 2 to 3 minutes before a workout. You don't have to do that. I normally swish for about 2 minutes after I wake up. I take my shower while I'm swishing and so on. And so I get as much absorption as I can. And the good news is you can't overdose. You would have to consume within a 24-hour period about 1,100 of these bottles to have a 50% chance of overdosing. It's very, very inert. Out of millions of servings that we've seen, we haven't had reported any significant adverse reactions. So there's nothing in here. If you were allergic to glutathione, you'd be dead because it's made by every cell in your body. So by miniaturizing it, we get it in directly into the bloodstream without going through the stomach. You still swallow because we include some cofactors that will make it through the stomach, but also we nanosize those so they'll also go right into your bloodstream. And we've been told by a scientist at the University of Utah, the reason our product is so instantly effective is because it exits the bloodstream with 1 pass of circulation, about 70 seconds. So athletes, even world-class athletes, will swish 5 minutes before a workout or 5 minutes before an event. And we tell the athletes, because of the half-life of glutathione, if they really want to win or better their time, break their own personal record, and it's a multi-hour event, swish every hour. Half-life of glutathione, once it's in your body, only averages 90 minutes. That doesn't mean it's all gone in 90 minutes. It means it's at half of its strength in 90 minutes. You get about a 6-hour bang for the buck, and then you get about a 24-hour to 36-hour tail. But why get the tell when there's nothing wrong? I swish. Like tonight, I'll be writing another chapter of my new book. And so I'll be swishing probably around midnight. That'll give me 100% of my mental focus. Um, and then because there's no stimulant, when my head hits the pillow, I'm usually asleep within 5 minutes. And I try to stay awake because I put an earpiece in and I listen to my favorite thing to listen to, which is the life and teachings of Christ. And but I go to sleep very quickly, and I wake up. And the first thing I do when I wake up, before I put my contacts in, I start swishing. So I'm swishing, 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 and then I'm start to put a contact in. So I just hold it under my tongue, put one in, put the other in, keep swishing, jump in the shower. And I'm telling you, before I even hit the shower, I've probably swished at least a minute, and I'm feeling great, feeling great. I don't run down. I don't know anybody my age that doesn't start to run down, at least mentally. We know of I met a doctor, he's a plastic surgeon in Miami, Florida, and he is performing plastic surgery 14 hours a day, 5 days a week. So he was on 3 glutathione IVs directly into his bloodstream per week. That's $900 a week. And he heard about our product and decided to try it. So he went cold turkey off of the IVs, thinking that when he switched to this, IVs are $200 to $300. In his case, they were $300 a serving. Our servings are under $2. So he said, there's no way it can be as good. Well, he swished, and instead of his mental focus and physical stamina going down, they both went up. He was blown away, never went back to IVs. And after a few weeks, he called and got a hold of me and said, can you come to Miami? I want to bring some doctors. I want you to teach them the science of this. I said, okay. I showed up. There were 42 surgeons in the room. And he really didn't need me because his testimony was so strong. And the testimony of his wife and his staff was so strong that everybody wanted to start taking it just from hearing that. But then they heard the science and they really felt good about it. So that's what we had. Now, I gave it to an athlete, and she was in a 100-mile bike race. At mile 37, her bicycle went end over end. She hit the pavement so hard it broke the helmet, knocked her out, put her in the hospital for 3.5 days. And her face hit the pavement at 22 miles an hour. So it was really, really bad. Well, the plastic surgeon said that would take at least 5 weeks to heal. Then she'd need to wait 60 days, and then they would go ahead and put together a protocol for dealing with the scars. Well, she put this on her face once on Tuesday night when she got home. She did it with a cotton ball, and then she did it 3 times on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. By Sunday, her face was completely clear, not a mark, not a scar. The plastic surgeon said she had never seen anything like it. Well, I've owned 5 makeup and cosmetic companies in the past. And when I saw that, I thought, oh my goodness, we might have the world's best skincare product. And so we put some in some spray bottles, sending them out to people to try. Look what came back. Michael or Keith, if we can go to the slides, that would be great. Hey, he knows. Okay, now there you go. Great. So this was the very first picture that came back. It was Sherry Warner. She was 59 years old. I sent that to my former formulator, who became the head formulator for the company that created Botox. When he saw that, and I happened to have talked to him today, John called me and said, Steve, I hate to tell you, she's had a facelift. There's no topical product in the world that can do that. Botox can't even do it. And I said, John, I hate to tell you, but she hasn't. She lives on a farm, works on a farm, and she just sprayed her face 5 times a day for 7 weeks. He said, well, you have got something nobody else in the world has ever even imagined. Let's see if this was freak or did it keep happening. This lady, unfortunately, had radon gas in the basement of a new home she bought. and she worked down in the basement for like 2 or 3 days. This is what happened to her. And she had it for 7 months. Nothing the doctors could do could make it go away. Guess what she did? She swished for 3 days, and that's the after picture. This wasn't even the spray. That was just 3 days of swishing. Look at this hand right here. Keep going. That's was a 59-year-old in Georgia. That was 6 weeks of spraying. Not Georgia, I'm sorry, Australia. Next. Look at this. So this, I like this because she's young, nothing wrong with her face. She just has a ruddy complexion. But look at how her skin tone so improved. I mean, she got what everybody wants from makeup, but she didn't have makeup. She got peaches and cream complexion. I mean, I can tell you, I've done hundreds of millions of dollars in makeup and skincare. Nothing can do that, but our product did. Next. Okay, we see that with legs. Look at that, 6 weeks, picture perfect. Next. I love this one. This lady is a skincare specialist in Miami, Florida. She's an esthetician, owns her own skincare salon. She said, I can't wait 8 weeks. Here's 8 days. Where did my pores go? Look how smooth my skin is. Look at how bright. Look at how it opened up my eyes. She said, Steve, there's nothing in the world that can do what this just did for me, and it did it in 8 days. Next. This is an 85-year-old man in Toronto, Canada. Now, on the left, you see his right hand at the age of 85, but look at it, 40 days later of spraying and swishing, and he looks like the hands of a 40-year-old. Next. This lady had a problem that was creating those circles. She wasn't super healthy. She had had it for many, many years. Well, she started swishing and spraying, and in 6 weeks, what she thought would be a lifetime went away. Next. Okay, there you can just see a smoothing. That's in 4 weeks. You also see a brightening and an opening up of the eyes. That's pretty crazy. Look at her eyes. Wow. Okay, these were my hands when I was much younger. I was 71. I sprayed my right hand for 7 weeks, didn't spray my left hand, and look at the difference. I mean, my goodness, it blew me away. Next. Okay, this lady, once again, only 4 weeks, but look at her skin tone. Look at the complexion. Everything is smoother, brighter, healthier looking. Next. And this is a girl. She said, I love what it's done to my skin, but everybody's asking me how I lost weight, and I haven't lost any weight. But what happens is the elasticity of her skin improved, and so it looks like she lost weight. Not a bad problem to have after only 4 weeks of use. Next. Okay, there you can see that's only 6 days, but you can already see a difference. Next. Once again, this is a young person, 2 weeks. But here we see the change in the texture of her skin. The pores have been diminished, and look at the skin tone. Once again, it's that peaches and cream. You can't get that. Even getting it with makeup is really hard. Next. Okay, this lady, you can see around her neck the changes, and her mouth and her chin. Next. That's 2 weeks. That's crazy. This is 4 weeks. Look at her neck. Wow, that's just really crazy. This next one I love. This lady's in her 80s. She said, I'm an old lady. I have old lady's legs and nothing's going to change it. Then she sprayed for 2.5 months, and guess what changed? Everything. She looks like she has young legs now instead of old lady legs. This was only 7 days, but once again, look at the brightness and look at the complexion. Next, we're almost done. There I am, and you can see I was 71 here, but that was 7 weeks, tighter, brighter, healthier looking. Next, and we're almost done. Okay, this lady I love because like Sherry, it looks like she had a facelift. She's 60 years old. That was 1 month, but look what happened after 7 months. Boom. Okay, it looked like she dropped at least. In fact, I met that lady last year. I thought if I had guessed, I would have said somewhere between 38 and 42. She's 60. Next. Look at the crepiness on the legs. Wow. Crazy. 12 weeks. This lady's one of my favorite. only that wasn't 2 weeks, it was 4 weeks. And we said, how on earth did you get those kind of results? It looked like she dropped 30 years off of her skin in just 4 weeks. And she said, I had a strategy. What was your strategy? She said, I had bottles of the spray. That's this right here. I had bottles all over the house. And anytime I passed a bottle, I sprayed my face. I said, how many times did you spray your face through the day? She said, I lost count. I just sprayed every time I passed a bottle. Well, look at the results in 4 weeks. Okay. I think we're just about done. Okay, there you can see it in 2 weeks on her hands. Next, almost done. And this lady was a smoker, and that was 8 weeks. Look at her neck. The neck and the hands are the giveaways on age, and they're the hardest to change, but we don't have any problem changing them. And last but not least, our 80-plus-year-old mother of a physician in Nigeria. Her daughter gave her the product, and in 4 weeks, inflammation went down. And look at the melon production went under control, and she was happy beyond words. Okay, so that's what we have. So how's it going to affect you? It's going to affect how you go through every day. And if you work out, like I say, swish 5 minutes before. How about if you don't feel anything? Okay, this gets the iceberg. I know we've gone long, but it's worth it. The iceberg. What sinks the ships is everything below the water, not what's above the water. And same thing with glutathione. What's under the water is what is life-changing, life-saving, life-altering. You don't feel it protecting your DNA. You don't feel it detoxifying the cells. You don't feel it boosting your immune system. Okay, that's down here. What do you feel? Well, number one, we call it stealth energy. It's not energy like a stimulant that gives you a spike and a crash. You just feel good. Like right now, I don't look like I'm amped up. I don't feel like I'm amped up, but I can get through the rest of my day. I can sail through it because I feel so good right now. We also, and this is if you don't like workout. If you have issues, you will see changes and feel changes up here. If you don't have any issues and you don't work out, you won't feel much. If you work out every day or every other day, you will, if you swish 5 minutes before the workout, you'll recover much faster and your workout will be more productive. You'll lift more weight, you'll run a greater distance and so on. So what do we change? We change just about everything. Most important, we slow down accelerated aging by reducing oxidative stress. And we get the benefit of lowering oxidative stress. So that's what we have. And Keith, I'm going to give it back to you.
All right. All right. What a great presentation. Now you understand, or hopefully you understand why I got so excited. You know, Steve talked a lot about the different results that folks are having. And that's just like he was saying, the tip of the iceberg. Whoever invited you here tonight actually can also ask them, how can you get access to our New Me, New You Facebook group? Because
I forgot something.
Go ahead.
I'm coming to the Philippines and Indonesia next week. We arrive in the Philippines. We leave on May 1st, but we arrive on May 3rd. We're doing meetings over the weekend. I want to take this opportunity to thank two people. Number one, I want to thank Mentor Anna. Mentor Anna, thank you for all you've done. You are amazing. You and your team have done an amazing job. And of course, I want to thank Mark Rosario, who I mentioned last week, who's been really working with us on getting ready for this. We're going to have a great time in the Philippines. I've known Mark for a long time. Mentor Anna, I cannot wait to give you a hug and just tell you how grateful I am to have you in our NUMI family. I can't wait to meet your leaders. I understand they're all going to be crowns within a year. That's pretty exciting. And I just want to, here at NUMI, we love serving our family members all over the world. I'm excited about Indonesia. They've pre-registered 12,000 people. I think we've got a meeting room for 2,000 in Jakarta and 5,000 in the other cities, Surabaya, or I'm sorry if I don't know how to pronounce it because it's not in front of me. But regardless, we're going to have a great time in Indonesia, a great time in the Philippines. And it's our launch for Indonesia. It's kind of like almost like a relaunch in the Philippines because we're seeing momentum start there. Everybody knows my heart for Asia. Anybody that knows me, I've been to the Philippines many times. This will be my first time in Indonesia. I'm so excited. My wife has been there. She absolutely loved it. And so I get to go there now. And Aaron Rennert, our president and CEO, will be with me. And so, of course, in the coming year, we hope to see a lot of you in a lot of different places. God bless you. And thank you for joining us tonight. And tomorrow, the morning, it's morning, Keith, in the
It is
Southern Hemisphere.
morning.
Yeah. So all of you know how
Absolutely.
much we love you. Phoebe, as always, I love seeing your smile. Thank you so much. You just fill my heart with love and energy just watching you. So God bless you all. Back to you, Keith.
Absolutely. Thank you, Steve. Absolutely. It's exciting times at Numi. And like I was mentioning, make sure you ask the person who invited you tonight to get access to the Numi New You Facebook group. A lot of testimonials in there. You'll get to read and listen to real life results. And it's exciting.